Christmas at the Holes was always a show, one of those occasions where monograms were even printed on the napkins. Like a well-dressed coat rack, wine had a story, and I had gone 3 years without any incidents. However, that year was unique. Whether it was the pressure or the way everyone's eyes were fixed on me while I talked, whatever it was, my stutter, which is typically a minor annoyance, had chosen to fully manifest itself midway through the prime rib, right when her father, the patriarch Arthur Holloway, who was a wine vendor worth more than I, smiled, gulped a little too hard, and asked what we were doing for the new year. Tara rose up from her chair, raised one arm as if to say, "We're planning a trip to CC Colorado," and then screwed her face while narrating a play, but in a distorted version of my voice. For effect, she added robotic arm twitches as if I were a malfunctioning machine on its last leg. When Helen, her mother, slapped the table, I assumed she was merely attempting to lighten the mood. Or perhaps laugh with me. She laughed so loudly that the buffet's crystal glasses clanked. "That's my girl," she said, and raised her hand. The whole table fell silent, then raised their hands in a high five, as if they had been practicing all morning. And nobody knew where to look, aside from Tara. She met my gaze and said, "Observe him straining like a malfunctioning machine. Perhaps if we switch him off, he'll learn to talk like a regular person again." I sat there, dumbfounded. I didn't even blink, but I could feel my smile cracking, somewhere between the word broken and her voice distortion. The quiet was worse than the weight in my chest, worse than the warmth in my ears, worse than the flush creeping up my neck. When that happened, nobody objected. Nobody stated, "That's not okay." Not even the distant relative who habitually poured too much brandy. Not even a murmur in disapproval. Just the clinks of forks. And a few coughs. They all sat back down as if nothing had happened. I wanted to yell. I wanted to weep. I wanted to leave. But when she handed her father a roll, I remained motionless. I tightened my jaw, folded my napkin slightly, as I had learned to do over the years. After dinner, I gulped my wine greedily, as if it had answers at the bottom of the glass. It was a little too spicy. When I volunteered to clear the dishes of the humiliating-tasting gingerbread cake, Helen waved her hand as if to shoo me off. Tara hardly listened to me before launching into her story about divorcing her Pilates instructor, and never once looked at me. I proceeded through the dining room like a ghost, gathering dishes, plate by plate, glass by glass. It wasn't the laughter that hurt. It was how loud and carelessly it happened behind me, as if I were both the entertainment and the help. I scrubbed at plates already scraped clean. Let the hot water run longer than necessary. Gazed out the kitchen window, where snow had begun to fall in gentle waves. It should have been a serene moment, but it felt like I was watching someone else's life, a happier man, performing household tasks for a family that adored him. Even though the water was running, I could still hear Tara's distorted, derisive voice. "Requires a reboot." Then, her mother's high-pitched slap, clap, and that mocking voice lodged in my chest. The joy in her words wasn't just in what she said. It was how effortlessly they came. After I finished washing the dishes, I wiped my hands on a cotton towel and stood there, letting their nonchalant harshness settle over me like steam. For 1 second, I could have returned to the dining room and resumed the act, but instead, I stepped outside. The air was biting, and I felt it. For the first time that night, I felt something real. I wasn't ready to make decisions, not yet, but I knew something had changed for good. The stillness between us on the way home was dense and cushioned. Nothing uttered. None of them realized that I had swallowed a lot. For love. and that this was the final time I'd let their table define who I was. The journey home was peaceful, save for the gentle tapping of Tara's nails across her phone screen, with a focus only someone truly amused could muster. I looked over. Her eyes were wrinkled from sharp, smug laughter. She waited, maybe for a reaction, regret, guilt, but there was none. Just amusement, as if she were replaying her favorite comedy scene. I tightened my grip on the steering wheel. When I saw the interstate exit signs, I counted them like rosary beads, anchoring myself in the solitude. Then I spoke. I was upset by the way you made fun of me in front of everyone. I wasn't accusing her. I just wanted to understand. Maybe ask for an apology, one I felt I deserved. She snorted. It was a joke. So I asked her, is water wet? Warren, you're so sensitive. People feel uncomfortable around you because of that. That word, sensitive, hit me like a slap, effortless, careless, as if I were the burden, and she carried it with grace. I looked her in the eyes, and in that moment, she had to apologize to the world for her voice. But not to me. I focused on the bright white lines. Let her words burn into my back, touchy, uncomfortable, as if I were the reason her friends tensed, as if I had hijacked her family's attention. I had assumed I was being kind, careful, but now I just felt reduced. I parked in our lot, apologized, with silence, helped unload the trunk. She passed me saying something about the cold. I didn't respond, because suddenly, old memories were unraveling in my mind. Now, seen in a new light, the time I tried to introduce myself to her manager, and she slid in front of me saying, he's not very good with words, I'll explain. The birthday dinner, where she answered every question for me. The wedding, where she told someone I had social anxiety, so I wouldn't have to bother with small talk. I used to think she was protecting me. Now I knew. She was protecting herself. That evening, she took a shower. I sat on the couch, TV flickering. Her phone buzzed beside me. Normally, I would have never looked. I respected privacy, even when mine wasn't returned, but this time, I had a gut feeling. That spark inside said, you've missed something. The message preview was from her friend, Cassie. Your mom's reaction killed me. My blood. That video of him stuttering was funny. My fingers tapped before my brain caught up. The video went cold. And then, I saw the thread. Inside jokes. I didn't understand. Laughing emojis. GIFs of broken robots. She had recorded my stutter and shared it. I kept scrolling. One said, can you email me the one where he tries to say great recommendation? I opened her